take in the end in your eyes to break that open? Because it was pretty demanding those first three quarters.
Yeah, I think it's there's a fair bit of credit that goes to Richmond, I reckon, as a young team, and when they're travelling and when they stay close and they got a fair bit of youth, it builds a bit of belief, and they were able to get the ball through us a little bit too easily at times. But I think credit where credit's due. They've got a pretty strong midfield when they're all firing together, and I thought it was always going to just take a bit of time, a bit of effort. The first time we played them in Melbourne this year was a pretty similar game. It just took a bit right to the end.
So what do you learn about the way in which you were at times opened up at the back? What lesson do you get out of that?
Oh, it's more about where the first crack comes, not the second or the third or the fourth. And everyone looks at the end result. The reality is there's some stuff that goes on up the ground that creates some of those challenges. And when you're not fully connected, full out throughout the defensive part of the game, that can open you up, and then you're scrambling, and it looks like you're really scrambling by the time it gets out the back.
So is the silver lining of Charlie having a forced break that you now see him in that condition tonight, that there's a silver lining to this in the end for you?
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. I really don't know. Charlie gives his all every time, and he's worked really hard to get himself back to play AFL football, and I'm really proud of him. It's his 150th game for Port Adelaide tonight. Everyone knows that I'm a massive Charlie Dixon fan, and I have been for a long, long, long time. And what I love is he gives me everything he has possibly got. He puts it out there for us, and I'm proud of him.
How much better Nick's he in though? I mean, just
fair bit.
Give us an insight as to just how much.
No, fair bit. He's dropped some weight, and he's done that all himself. He's wanted. I asked him the question, to be honest, when we got to the point where it was challenging to put him in the team. Does he want to fight? And I said to Chad, one thing I've learnt in this game, or in football for a long time, if you want someone to fight, pick a fight. And I picked a fight with Charlie about whether he did want to keep going, and credit to him, he showed a fight, and he put up a great fight tonight. It was really important.
So what's his program from here? Because you've talked about in the past where the stage by stage managing it, but what can you do with him now?
Well, I think the upside for us is that we've had a lot of rests already this year and a lot of breaks this year, so that hopefully there's an opportunity that we can, if need be, and he needs a rest, well, that's what we would do still, because we know ultimately there's 5 games to go in the home and away season, and then there comes a break for everyone. So I think it'd be reasonable to think he can get through that.
How's the skipper? He seemed a bit sore late.
Yeah, he got a whack on the hip. Pretty normal footy injury, unfortunately, and he'll be fine. He'll recover. We didn't put him back on there because we didn't need to, so we managed him well, get him ready for next week. He'll be fine, I would imagine, to play next week. He's been going pretty well.
Just another piece of evidence, I guess, as you go along the journey. You always talk about the entirety of the season and building. And where do you feel you're at? 11th win of the season.
In a big pack. That's where I feel like we're at, and we know that we just spoke with Chris inside. It's a waste of time looking at the ladder or what's coming up. You just got to take the very next moment you've got, and that's all we're going to focus on. The very next moment. We've prepared this week like this is the part of the year where you're either going to make or break. Something's going to be some team is going to make something big happen in this competition between now and the end of the year. I'm hoping that can be us. All I know is we can work hard to try and get to that point.
But do you reckon your upside is still to come?
Oh, I think each team that's in our position would think they've got some upside. We believe we've got some upside, but the reality is the competition's so close. We go next week to play the team sitting second on the ladder in Melbourne, so we know what we've got coming next. So we'll be ready for that and give our absolute best and make sure we can challenge them.
You had some words with the midfield group at half-time. What was the messaging towards them?
I was explaining to them I wasn't that happy with the way they were going as a collective, and I've built great relationships at this footy club with my players and all our staff, and you do it for those reasons, so as that you can withstand some direct feedback, and that was direct, and it was challenging for the group. But if you look through the reflection of the numbers in the second half, you'll find a really, really big response. You'll see what we're able to do to Richmond's midfield, and then continue on with our midfield effort. And I think rarely do you go too hard nowadays, but the reality was it was a moment that we were fighting for our season, and we weren't going to sit there and cop that.
So do you occasionally have one in the back pocket there? Sorry? Do you just occasionally have one in the back pocket that you have to go, old school occasionally?
Yeah, probably. If I'm being really honest, I'm old, so I coach old schools sometimes.
So what weren't they getting? Was it about where they were positioning themselves or what?
It was the collective battle, I think, between both teams, and I felt their midfield were having the better of our midfield in the first half, and I think by the end of the game, I thought our midfield got right on top, and Drew goes to work and puts some care into Prestia, who was really hurting us, and then the numbers really swing in our favour with lots of territory, lots of entries, and we play like a team. Look, I think when we put grit together with talent, I think we can be okay, but if we try and do it one or the other, I think we'll get in trouble.
Were you giving them too much corridor as part of that early? They seem to be getting out the back quite easily.
Yeah, I said before you come in that they the breaks in getting out the back come from a lot of things, not necessarily one or the other. It looks like it can be really damaging when it gets to the end of it, but it can happen from up the field much further. And I think there was a little bit of corridors, a little bit of outlets that we were allowing, and that they were able to penetrate through the middle of the ground or through the whole length of the ground, which was more damaging. So, but I think there was a bit of corridor use that we were giving them, which we were just a bit sloppy with our shape, I thought, around the contest.
Does Logan Evans continue to make you smile about what happens when a kid gets an opportunity?
Is there a right what do they call it now? They get the young fella of the week, the rising star. Yeah, I was trying to think I got it right. He put a pretty good case together, I think, over the last month. It's a consistent block of work since he's come into our team. Remarkable for an 18-year-old who wasn't drafted, who got drafted mid-season. Looks like he's got great composure out there. And what I love the most is he's got great maturity to keep asking. What do you need from me? What do you want from me? How do you want me to do these things? And Tyson's doing a great job of educating him, along with what Hamish did with him early.
But why is it that he does seem as if he is saying that he belongs there?
Oh, I think he's got a bit of belief in himself, and they all do when they get to this level. They have to have a bit of belief, but he works hard. And when you see people work hard, you want to help them and you want to see them be successful. And his teammates, I think, would feel the same way about him. They love watching him play now, and in some ways they're quite staggered by what he's been able to put up in his first 4 or 5 games.
You said you were really excited to get Willie back. I think your record with him is now 9-3 this year and 2-4 without him, or something like that. He's clearly an important player for you. What did you like most about his performance tonight? He's got real smarts on the footy field. He does things that other people can't necessarily do. And in front of the ball, we've probably struggled a little bit with some polish at times. And I think Willie's probably our most creative and polished piece when he's out there, and I think he adds to a lot of other players. He makes other players, not just himself, play reasonably well, but I think he creates opportunities for other players, and I think it helps Darcy, it helps Frank and even Quinton when he come on. But him being out there just makes a bit of a difference to everyone else, and you can play him in so many different spots too, so you can disrupt the oppo a little bit.
Are you clear in your mind as to what your best forward mix looks like in terms of personnel?
We haven't probably had that luxury almost. Luxury isn't probably, I know it's not the right word, but because of injury, we haven't really, that's the part of the ground that we've been damaged in a fair bit throughout the season for different reasons. And so we probably haven't had that yet, but I think we absolutely have an idea who we think would be the best mix, but at the moment we haven't had that choice. All right?
Oh, is it any more on Todd Marshall since we last spoke?
No. We'll see how he goes. He'll be a chance to play this week, but we'll wait and see.